Hello world, Patricia O'Connor and Frida Reba Darcy here, and we are starting for part 2 of our Japanese black pine repot. And since we last left off, I watched a few video premieres. I got to see Nigel drop a pine video as well. That was most pleasurable. And I also went back over with my chopsticks off camera and make sure that I didn't leave any pockets out. I found a couple of more, but not many. So I feel pretty good about all of that. I feel pretty good about that soil height. I feel great about the Nabari that I have re-exposed because that's the way the tree was when I originally had it. And I just let it go farther down in the pot than that. I was just totally, at the time, not as concerned with the placement and all that kind of stuff. I had other issues, and the tree, to be frank, had other issues at the time. But this is us now. Man, this is a stunning tree. I think that actually, I wouldn't have never had the nerve to cut that off, but that does certainly open up all of that area and shows off all of that bark. This is not sour grapes. I'm not going, I like it better that way, but you can certainly, I could never see all of that in there and just how blocky and cool that looks. Now, there is some things, this tree, this is a good angle to show this, I believe. This tree was grafted. So the root stock on this guy, what was originally the root stock, is Japanese black pine. And the top would have been a cutting or a scion from a cork bark Japanese black pine. So rare, 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 rare. Now, how do I know that it is a grafted tree? Because I was told when I bought it. In fact, what I was told was, Patricia, this is a grafted tree and it's obvious. The graft is right there. And that is where the graft is. So here's a good way to think of this. Oh, but you can kind of tell, but it kind of can't. I mean, when you really start seeing what cork bark really means, how that stuff just goes, that plating is just, but this was the root base of the original stock. But that was probably done, back in the day. This might have all been originally root stock, and it's just grown together in the years that it's barked over all those years. So that's pretty cool. I think we've gotten this guy back to looking quite a bit better. The thing that made my heart sink a little was when I saw that how I had what I had done to the angle of it and what I had done to just basically hide some of the really cool features of the tree. But on the other hand, what I was there to do was to see what was up with that tree. And I came away with that very hopeful that I had done something positive that was going, it's like I went in there looking for a cause and effect, and I very much found a cause. And we affected a good countermeasure. We cut away all of that, didn't really even have to cut it, but we removed all of that blockage of roots and stuff, and that put us on the path, that put us on a good path. I would have nothing to say at all had I been happier with the angle that I put it. But what I came there to do, we pretty much, we pretty much made, needed to do something to fix the tree and to ensure its survival. And we kind of went in there and did that. And that's, now that I've gotten this part taken care of, I feel better about both parts. I guess that's kind of funny, but yeah. This is baby oil. I'm just giving the pot a little wipe down. I'm seeing that this is not having that much of an effect on the the watermarks. We'll keep trying though. I might have to go back to my tried and true almonds, not almonds, walnuts. I would take walnuts and bundle them up in a dish rag and then just pound the heck out of it. Do not quit. No, do not eat that either. We do not eat the soil. Dog food, perfectly good dog food. Dog treat, great dog treat. They look like they would be delicious. They smell good, and you want to eat dog food. You want to eat the substrate. No. So, yeah, this is our part 2. Something that I had been thinking about is when it does come time to decandle this tree, that I could maybe graft those baby candles onto seed stock and maybe start some cork bark trees that way. Also, I was watching one grower who fattens up his mammays by, letting them grow that big long one sacrifice branch. But then he showed a table where he was air layering those sacrifice branches and getting really fat the second round of mamay little trees wouldn't start from a seedling with whatever roots a seedling have. He would start his second round of trees from air layering those sacrifice branches. But those things were probably had probably been on there for 8 years and were maybe this big around. Great for little bonsai trees to have something. He would air layer that close to the top of it, and then have something with a fantastic root spread and a trunk that big that might already, has already gotten some kind of texture going to it. So that's something to think about. When this guy starts recovering, maybe I could think about trying to air, maybe let a sacrifice branch go for a couple of years and fatten up, and then air layer it and start. And that way I would have a cork bark black pine for the future that's not quite as old as this one for sure, but would still have these same fantastic features. I mean, this guy really makes some beautiful bark, and it makes some really nice buds on there too. Those little, its canopy is pretty thick when somebody knows what they're doing. And I'm just now getting around to figuring out what it is I'm supposed to be doing. So we'll be seeing some more of that. But having rotated it and looked at it, I've decided not to thin any more needles right now. I'm going to wait on that part of it until a little closer to spring. There's our front. It doesn't really have a back, but there's our front. And there it is, head on, and at that way it's kind of bowing to us a little. And then with that branch, with this one branch gone, you can see up in here so much better. I don't know, it's probably pretty dark in there, like I know it is, but anyway, this is the back, and again, there's not really a bad side to this guy, and then that would be the right side. So the roots rolling up out of the ground here and here. And I've got the soil height a lot lower in the pot. It just all in all looks so much better now, and the tree looks so much happier than when all of that was going on. And it was really reassuring to go after a problem and have it turn out this way instead of turn out badly. And what I found out about what I came away with was pretty good. You know, it was less intimidating than I thought. Even though going through this mess was pretty intimidating, the back side of it, I had learned so much more on the back side of it that I feel a lot more ready than I was whenever all of that started. And I've kind of I kind of feel like I owe this tree that it kind of brought me along, and in such a way that it didn't really cost us anything. I don't think. I think we're still, I certainly have a lot of vigor and a lot of enthusiasm for what's coming next with me and Japanese black pines and ponderosas. I don't really know what else is going to be on my agenda when it comes to pines. But yeah, so that's a pretty good look. That's a pretty good look at that. I think that's, the first video went a little long, and it's still uploading. It's about 75% uploaded, and it says it still needs another 50 minutes. That's because of all that storm activity, and it's already raining, and they just upped our little weather report to some wind advisories, some hellacious wind advisories. I mean, just casually, at first it was like, if you live in Santa Cruz, you kind of need to listen up and pay attention, but now they just kind of drop this on us. And let's see, blah, 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 East Bay, 50 mile an hour winds, 60 mile an hour winds. And then, let's see, coast, 80 miles per hour along the coast at the highest peak. Oh, thanks for that. And an hour ago, that wasn't there. That just popped up. Oh, by the way, 80 mile an hour winds are possible. So the last time they said 60 mile an hour wind, I think we actually got a 43. So preparing for a 60 mile an hour wind, I did evasive action for that and covered our little tree butts. I went to work feeling fairly secure that they weren't going to blow away in the living room. And I don't think our winds were that high, but then come to find out we did. We at least had a high 40. So hearing that we could be up for a possible 80, I'm not taking any chances. I brought in the long and lankies, and I brought in the tinies, and I brought in the things that look like they could go airborne really easy. Other than that, if they're big and heavy and they don't have a lot of leaves on them right now, they're going to hang out there. And having gone through that, I didn't see a whole lot of stuff move around. I didn't see my clay pots or anything move around that were on the floor of the deck. I just saw kind of one branch on a wisteria that had a light wire on it that looked like it might have gotten moved. On the other hand, I might have been doing that, poking around in the dark, bringing in stuff. So yeah, we do have some more. It's here now, and it's the worst of it. In the 10-day forecast, they were saying that Wednesday, which was last Wednesday, and tomorrow are going to was what they were calling the worst of it. So let me see if I can see what that looks like. Yeah, that's gonna freak out the camera for a second. Anyway, that's what's coming. We're here, and we're about to be in the yellow and then the red, and then if I shrink the screen, there's it just keeps happening. You can see they're lined up like buses. This was the third one. So that would be the fourth one, and whatever's coming behind that would be, and I hadn't even heard anything past that. So the satellite can't catch up with that much data. Anyway, so we're going to be wet in the trenches in my little trials and tribulations as far as trying to keep my pine trees green and less yellow, and on some sort of watering schedule that would be indicative of a bonsai tree this time of year, and not of something in. This is like that. This is not like living in the tropics or something. It was just going to be a 90-day rain here, the way it's looking. So whatever we have to do to keep that on the, we've made it through some pretty weird stuff. I think the wind, the possibilities of those high winds, those are, and we are 4 floors up. So if somebody gets it, we will, and we are south facing, and that's where the wind is supposed to be coming out of. So, it's like we're kind of double dutching when it comes to all that stuff. But having tested it some, as long as the pine tree outside the door holds up, the big one, and doesn't take out our rail or nothing, we should probably be okay. The main thing I'm still concerned about is how much water blows in. The other night I did that short where I was standing there when it was blowing in, and those were 35-mile-an-hour gusts that were just kind of, and every time it would do that I would get wet, but it wasn't as wet as if I were standing outside. It would just blow it in drops. And to that extent, the next day, which was this morning, those trees were dry again, or well on their way to being dry. They wouldn't get watered for a while today. But, so yeah, we're just going to keep rolling with it and trying to make sure everybody doesn't start growing web feet and rotten roots. And like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. I am really pleased with the way this turned out after its little repot. I'll water it in, and because it needs to be watered in, but then I won't put it back out on the balcony, because then that'll start I won't put it out until tomorrow morning. That would start a run of it being wet for a week, and I want to water it in, and then I would like for it to dry back out. So yeah, that's what's going to go on there. Like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Our next drop will probably be our let's see, Wednesday or Friday drop, maybe Thursday drop, and then that'll just set us right up for the weekend. And maybe we'll have a break in this weather by then and can go out on the balcony and do something. It's been a nice break for me to be able to shoot something besides evasive weather videos. But whatever whenever news breaks, we fix it, as they say. So, and that's kind of what we've been dealing with. So, thanks so much for watching.